everybody. Welcome back. It's Mark. Well, today we're going to get that Terrova mounted up and installed. We're going to talk about placement. I've seen several different ways of this motor mounted on boats. On the Tracker Heritage and the Classics, for the most part, they've pretty much followed the same angle that the Edge did. Everything just has to go forward due to the way that the mounting bracket sits. I've chosen to mount this up using the Minn Kota MKA-21 bracket. Why? I don't know. I think it's because when I did the trip last year, I realized how important having that cover on the boat was. And a lot of people have said that once they've put this on the boat, the cover won't fit. I would like the option to take it off and stow it for long trips. Well, this install shouldn't be too big of a deal. Just like the removal, there's going to be some access issues getting way up front to get some things done, but should be pretty easy. Okay, so as far as power goes, I'm using the same receptacle that came with the boat. And I bought an additional plug that I will crimp to those wires. I will run some corrugated tubing around that, clean that up. We're gonna keep it simple. There's no need to turn this into a big production. All right, let's get this thing in. I'm tired of looking at it. Now you can mount this motor one of many ways. It could be coming off this side, straight back, whatever you wanna do. The more you alter your direction, you're probably gonna wanna remove this, or you're gonna have to add washers under whatever part is coming out this way, because this is between 1/8 and 1/4 inch higher than the aluminum. So we do have 7 holes here. Right now it's looking like these are the only 2 holes that are salvageable. The rest of these will be filled, and we'll figure out what to do with the space here. The MKA-21 bracket comes with this template. That's actually the box. So make sure you want it before you tear it apart, because you have to do this to the box to get the template. So as you can see, our template rides right along this rubber decking. So we have 2 existing holes. This is what we have here, and they're not exact. They're not an exact match to this guy. You notice how we got one that's a little bit cockeyed. It will be okay, and that's using 2 existing hole locations. And as you notice here, this hole location's absolutely useless because I'm not gonna drill into that angle. Just not doing it. So it looks like we're gonna end up with 3 useful holes. I may tap another hole right in here just to do it. All right, so the next part of this, we're gonna take these covers off. We need to mount the bracket to this guy. So we're gonna go ahead and do that right now. You need a screw gun, Phillips. There are 2 screws on each side of this. They do not stay in, so make sure you capture those and keep them. Kind of helps to have a magnetic tip as well to capture those. It's not that big a deal, but we have removal. Now the goal is we're gonna flip this thing onto its top. So now we're gonna mount this plate right here, like so. Actually, yeah, like so. Let's get to mounting this bad boy up. This is the guy we need. Okay, it's really gonna help to have a nut driver on this install here. You have no room. So we need that nut. That nut's only about half the, so we need that guy to sit on the edge of this nut driver. So what we've done is stuffed a little tape inside of the nut driver to create a flush condition. Just a little trick. Alright, I'm going to get all of them on before I snug it down. And that's what we're looking for there as far as the 3 go on that side. We're going to tighten them down once we get everything in place. Alright, so we got all 6 in place. Now we just need to button them up. I think I have to tell anybody how important it is to make sure this is as tight as you can possibly get this. If you don't make this as tight as you can, this thing's going to wobble around, things are going to loosen, and over time you might have a terrible problem where this either flies off your boat on the lake or when you're driving down the road. That is not what we're looking for. Alright, so these are 7/16. We're going to tighten it down, and then we're going to come through one more time after we've done them all and really get them snug. Now if you notice what I'm doing here, I'm giving myself a little room using the deploy there. Gives me enough room to get my hand in here to tighten this guy up. Okay, so now what I want to do is come back through and hit it with a wrench. Whichever side you decide to put your safety pin in when it locks in, you want this guy on that side. In my case, I'm gonna have it outboard. I think it's just more difficult to get at if it's right here. Okay, so at this point, all we're doing now is snugging everything up, and we're gonna put everything back together. And then we gotta mount this guy, and we're done. As far as the mounting portion goes, and we just have to worry about power. You don't want to smash these down. This cover is made of plastic. It is pretty stout, but over time, if you take this on and off, you will smash it and crack that housing that the screw sits in. When it's all over, it's going to look something like that. I'm realistically going to do these one at a time. I just put this screw in that was in here originally to hold this down exactly where I want it. This screw will stay here. We're gonna get some hardware on it. So now we're gonna drill a new hole right here. Thinking about doing another one right here. So for now, we're just gonna go ahead and try to get some hardware on. You guys are gonna love this. So that we don't lose any of this crap in the boat, we're gonna glue these washers to these nuts. Let those dry for a little bit. All right, so I've chosen to drill a hole right here. I am gonna countersink it. Now we just need this guy. All right, so as you can see, we got all 4 of our bolts tightened up on that bracket, and we are done. As far as the mounting portion goes, there she is. In order to get this thing on and off, you pull this cotter pin, which I'm going to put a lock on this probably in the next day or 2. They give you this cotter pin for the time being. Just pull that out. And the way that I put this, it's pretty simple. Slide it right out. Now the whole thing comes off. See that? It just simply slides right off of there. And that's that. These 4 holes right here, it came with these 4 little grommets. I think that's where they're gonna sit temporarily, but eventually what's gonna happen is I am going to do something, some non-slip material or something right here. Don't know quite yet how I want to do that, but skateboard grip tape seems to work good, so maybe we'll go that direction. All right, so first things first, we're gonna cut this wire off. They come with these ring terminals. I don't quite know why. I guess if your battery was 4 feet from your motor, it'd be okay, but these ring terminals still aren't gonna fit on your battery post. And I am going to leave the full length of the corrugated tubing and the wire attached to this, and I'll manage it rather than chop it off and make it shorter. I don't think that's a good idea at this point. We're gonna use heat shrinkable butt connectors. All right, and that's what we got. That corrugated line runs all the way up inside the motor. So all we got left to focus on as far as wiring goes before we can put the front cover back on is the puck. The GPS puck needs to go on. According to the directions, it shouldn't be around any metal, meaning magnetic. It is a GPS unit, so you don't want to give it any interference, and it also specifies not to put it around any big power. So we're gonna keep this little tiny line away from our 8-gauge power coming from the battery. Okay, if you guys are wondering, I know a lot of people have found this already. I'm not exactly sure in the Classic if it's the same wiring, that color, But in the Heritage, unequivocally, that is the power for the fish finder up front, and that's located under the dash. It's equipped with a 3-amp fuse. I've already pulled it out. I'm going to go ahead and start rewiring everything up front. There you have that, in case you don't know. So first thing we're going to do is cut these off. We're going to redo the power for the fish finder. The Minn Kota is mounted. All that's left is to put the blade on, and we're ready to fish. Not too bad of an install, really. I think the most difficult part, clearly, was getting access and getting those nuts on the mounting plate. But other than that, it wasn't so bad. Alright, so when you see this guy, that's all that is a shipping spacer. You're going to want to take that off. Make sure you take this off. That's not going to help you. You can see in there, we're going to want to line up this pin right here with that slot. Alright, she's in there. Place that washer. The key to this is to not over tighten. If you over tighten this, what you end up doing is pulling on the mechanism, and what it does is it pulls it together and creates a binding situation. So this is basically just a hair over finger tight. That's that. To hook up the pedal, you just tie these two guys together, which I'm not going to do right now. The pedal's going to sit right there where the old one did when I am using it.